Hello, everyone. Today we're going to talk about how to recruit smarter and faster with the help of artificial intelligence, SAP partner Flexso, and the SAP Business Technology Platform. My name is Timo Elliott, and I'm an innovation evangelist for SAP. This session is part of a series of Better Together conversations where SAP gives the microphone to our customers and partners for an unfiltered look at how they're innovating with SAP's Business Technology Platform to unlock business value. Today, I am delighted to welcome Tom Mentens, HR Transformation Consultant at Flexso for People, and David Pierre, Partner at Flexso Digital. So David, let me start with you. Could you briefly introduce Flexso? What's the difference between those two companies, and explain your role?
Yes, Flexso is actually an important end-to-end SAP service provider in Belgium. And we have an end-to-end service delivery on SAP in Belgium, but we have, of course, different specializations, different competence centers, and one of the competence centers is Flexso for People, and Tom is one of the competence leads for Flexso for People with a focus on HR transformation, success factors, SAP HCM, etc. And I'm heading our Flexso Digital Competence Center, which is actually our platform and technology competence center. We are specialized, 60 developers specialized in developing apps on SAP. So you could say, to make it really summarized and short, that Tom is conceiving and creating the HR use cases and apps with the customers, and we are developing them.
All right, sounds great. So Flexso for People is focused on the business transformation for HR, and then Flexso Digital is on SAP extensions and the technology with the SAP Business Technology Platform.
Yes.
Wonderful. So Tom, let me turn to you. Today we're talking about an intelligent CV matching solution or intelligent resume matching solution. Where did the inspiration come from for this kind of solution? What does it mean to your customers?
In general, we're implementing SuccessFactors technology and being close to the technology with the clients. We see quite a lot of challenge in the area of recruitment, and there are actually two things that we see popping up quite often. The first thing is that actually the time to hire, that is the first moment that the candidate actually applies for the company or for the position, up to the point that he or she signs the contract. That time to hire period is quite long. If you take a look at the average in Belgium, it's about 37 days, which is quite long. And that means that not only from a candidate perspective it is long, it's a very lengthy process. You have to interact with the company and again. You have to re-explain your profile and so on. We also see from an organizational perspective that actually they are losing candidates in that side. And as we know already, the war for talent is still raging very hard, and companies just can't afford losing candidates because their recruiting and selection process is too long. And that's the first aspect of it. A second part is that also organizations can't really afford to hire wrong candidates. From a costly, it costs quite a lot to hire somebody and then onboard somebody and then lose it after a few years or months because the candidate is of bad quality. So those two perspectives were actually part of the inspiration to build something to improve those two challenges.
Perfect. So we're going to use smarter and more intelligent technology to hopefully hire smarter and more intelligent employees, or at least save time and in the whole process. So it sounds fantastic. It sounds almost too good to be true. So David, let me turn to you. What's the technology reality? How did you go about building this solution? What technologies did you use?
Yeah, so in fact, the solution was to be tightly integrated. That was our starting point. We start from the core HRIS solution for our customer was SuccessFactors, and we wanted to tightly integrate as much as possible with the standard product, but also at the same time keep the product as standard as possible, of course, not modify the product so that the product can evolve and be upgraded. And it's also a cloud product, obviously, so that's important. So we used BTP as the extension platform. So the application was developed on top of BTP, SAP Business Technology Platform, as a infrastructure, and we used Fiori, the design language for SAP apps, as the front-end user experience for the end user. And the user experience is also completely aligned with the SAP best practices, the Fiori design guidelines, but also with the user interface of SuccessFactors. So for the end user, the recruiter, he almost doesn't see he or she almost doesn't see the difference between working in SuccessFactors and then popping out to the extension and using our CV or our resume matching solution. So that were the key starting points for us. Tight integration with SuccessFactors and also a seamless user experience with single sign-on and everything with SuccessFactors. And of course, design always starts about user-centered design. That's always important. So we really started with a prototyping phase where we sat together with the end users and designed the application without programming it completely. So the customer already knew beforehand how the application would look like. And when then we all agreed upon the design, then we started, of course, implementing. That's best practice.
And what was interesting about the prototyping part is that actually we brought in our junior colleagues, so to say, in a room, and they together with us built a prototype while writing on a whiteboard and actually building it together as starting from scratch. So we actually used the type of users that we were aiming for the final solution. We involved them in building the solution up front.
Yeah. Great. And if I may, maybe, sorry, yeah. Just to add one more point. So it's also an integration project in the sense that we also used a third-party AI service. So we used the AI service by TechWolf, which is a scale-up in Belgium specialized in HR AI technology. And we integrated that on BTP with SuccessFactors. So we really leveraged BTP as an integration platform, an open integration platform, bringing together this SaaS AI service together with SuccessFactors, and then visualizing that to the end user with Fiori. So we certainly also wanted to mention that, of course.
I mean, it sounds very much like the model for the future, where you're building solutions that integrate tightly with the cloud application, using the platform to ensure that it's still upgradable. Now, just to be clear, the alternative presumably would be to do some sort of custom coding. What was the advantage of using the SAP Business Technology Platform for the integration and the connections?
Yeah, obviously, Business Technology Platform is conceived by SAP as the extension platform of choice, let's say, for SAP solutions. So there is a lot of default and out-of-the-box pre-built integrations available in the platform. I think that's the major, for example, single sign-on, setting up single sign-on between the custom application or the extension and the SuccessFactors platform is really, really easy, but could be complex if you go towards other technologies and other platforms. So I think that is a major advantage. I think it's a very comprehensive tool set. You can develop in ABAP, or you can develop maybe to a certain extent, you can develop also or customize things within SuccessFactors, but these are not development platforms. These are not comprehensive development or extension tool sets. What you really want is a comprehensive tool set that allows you to build anything you want, with only your creativity as a limitation, I would say, but still connect to that system of record, let's say, and that's actually what we did.
So let's drill down how it actually works, because we have to introduce an acronym now. So EPaaS, EPaaS, Embedded Platform as a Service. So how does the model work?
Yes, it's actually a model tailored to make things as easy as possible for our end customer, the SAP customer, in the sense that our application uses BTP, Business Technology Platform, as a cloud infrastructure to run. So that would mean that the customer needs BTP, has to acquire a piece of BTP to be able to run our extension. But maybe the customer isn't using BTP, he's only using SuccessFactors, and then that is a hurdle. That would be a hurdle for him to start using the application. So we want to avoid that hurdle. So that's why we acquired as Flexso an embedded piece of BTP. So we run our own BTP platform, and we host the application in a full SaaS model to the end customer. So the end customer can just enjoy the app fully SaaS, no infrastructure or prior prerequisites in technical prerequisites necessary via our platform, and doesn't have to acquire necessarily the platform under the hood, let's say.
So behind the scenes, it's seamless multi-cloud installation, but the customer doesn't have to care, which is the whole point of the cloud, right? So Tom, what's the customer reception been so far?
I think quite good. We had a quite comprehensive business case to follow. It takes some investment. In this case, we co-created together with the clients. That means the investment was actually taken up by the three parties. So the Flexso for people, the Flexso Digital, and the customer. We took that together. So the business case was on, and it's fulfilling it. So at this point, the recruiters are intensively using the solution, and it's really paying their worth. It's really working as it should have been. So, and the user adoption means the adoption from the recruiters is quite high. So the customer is happy, and then we're happy as well, of course. Yeah.
Great. So Tom, let me stick with you. Final question. We all know that technology projects are very rarely easy and seamless. Like there's always challenges or roadblocks. Did anything came up? What were the challenges, and how did you deal with them? And any recommendations to others who want to, maybe another company wants to create this kind of partner solution, or an organization is interested in this sort of e-pass approach from a business point of view?
Yeah, what was really interesting from our side is that we were really convinced of the solution. It was built with users from a user perspective, so we were quite happy with the methodology we followed. And I think within the testing, we saw that from a technology perspective, from a user perspective, it worked fine. But there's another aspect, and that's within the context of AI, is also building up trust with the solution, the AI solution as such. Recruiters find for themselves that they can recruit better than an AI does, and probably that's the case, but we had to build up trust with the solution. And again, user experience was fine, but the trust was not there yet from the beginning. So that you have
how did you do that?
Well, we built a part of that into the solution, and at this point, we actually gave some transparency on how the solution, the AI solution works. And that means, in this case, very concretely, what skills are matching, what skills are lacking. And the recruiter has a clear view on every applicant, what is lacking and what is matching. And that was part of change management.
Leveraging the explainability. It shows these because of these factors, and that gives people permission to believe in the result. Makes a lot of sense. This is something I've seen elsewhere. So
and maybe if I can add to that, that also, let's say, made transparent data issues, because everybody knows that this is a data-driven solution. Data is super important, garbage in, garbage out. That's always the case with data. So the data has to be up to date. And that was also one of the challenges in the project. You can build a fantastic app and a fantastic matching solution. But if the competences and the data in SuccessFactors are not 100% up to date, then of course the match will not be correct. So this is then also one of the, let's say, challenges that you have in such a project, to make sure that the data is correct, so that also the match is. And
that's the reality. The data is never as good as people think it is. It's only when you start this sort of project that people realize that they have to do more work than they expected to do that data. So, and any recommendations to others, like start on data quality earlier, it sounds like, but what kind of tools or approaches did you use to fix the data problem? David?
I think it's more on the, let's say, on the key user side, that they had to, let's say, set up and correct the data. Correct the data in SuccessFactors. I think, but I think that eventually also leads to better job profiles, because in this case, the master data, the relevant master data, are actually job profiles. On one hand, we match resumes, and we scan the resumes for competences, and on the other hand, we match them with job profiles. But if the job profiles are not 100% correct or accurate, then the match is not accurate. So what happened in the project is that we really had to scan and reiterate through the different job profiles and make sure that they are correct. And that is important anyway, not only for this project, but for any business case. So
I think we did very well in this, and that if the job profiles are not correct, that means that your matching is not correct. So we built in a functionality to actually rewrite the job profile and then do a refresh, and then your matching rates got refreshed. And I think that's quite a clever functionality as part of the solution, because it happens that recruiters write their job profile a bit too sloppy, that you have to build that in, that you can recalculate the matching rates in just a button, with just a button. Okay. So that was a good functionality.
Well, fantastic. I mean, it really does feel like you built the first of the solutions of the future. I think this sort of e-pass approach and using the business technology platform is really what everybody will be doing going forward. So thank you. we've run out of time. Luckily, there's lots of places to go to get more information about the solution. So you can go to flexso.com, that's flexso.com, or you can go to store.sap.com. And if you search for Flexso or Intelligent CV Matching Solution, you can actually go and buy it directly on the store if you're interested. You also had a fantastic awards entry for the Innovation Awards. Folks can see that at sap.com/innovation awards. So with that, thank you so much for joining me, Tom and David.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And to the audience, if you'd like to hear more great examples of the SAP Business Technology Platform in action, or participate in stories, or suggest topics, or interact with us in any way, please go to sap.com/BTP and become part of the conversation. So best of luck with your projects. I hope to see you soon for another Better Together conversation. Best of luck with all your projects. Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks a lot. See you later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.